Then my other lemon is through, I think it was through Chris Van Vliet's interview with Jonathan Coachman. This isn't breaking news, but I think that it's like one of the first times that we've actually heard it vocalized. Coach talks about how Vince McMahon hated NXT and the ride, like how it started to grow, and how, I mean, especially during the black and gold era, a lot of people viewed it to be better than SmackDown and Raw because, hello, on a weekly basis it was at that point for a lot of that 2010 era. So just hearing confirmation of what you already suspected to be true, and then not even just that, because Vince obviously didn't create NXT or why it became great. He didn't have a say in a lot of it.
It was Shane's idea at first. Shane
Um,
McMahon came up with the concept of NXT.
I think the part that makes it even more frustrating is just knowing how he treated NXT talent when they would be called up. I mean, one of the prime examples is Daniel Bryan. You know what I mean? Like, or how many of them would be called up and would flop on the main roster despite how gigantic they were in NXT.
Look at what they did to Paul Karrion Kross.
Yeah, well, or why do you think Johnny Gargano left at the instead of coming up to the main roster? Same thing with Adam Cole. Like, why do you think they left?
Adam Cole should be world champion in
It's like,
WWE.
yeah, but
I will
they
agree with
knew that they were smaller dudes, that Vince was never going to like them and was never going to make them anything higher than a mid card if he even put them on TV. So it's just, looking back on instances like that, it's just sad because he, for somebody who we credit for being a wrestling genius, like if we're only looking at what we know from what he did and how he grew WWE, he made massive mistakes with some of these people that were in NXT that he simply either just didn't believe in, didn't like, or didn't want to reward because he isn't responsible for why they became a star in NXT. It's just sad, like Adam Cole could have been a huge name in WWE, but your selfishness and your ego wouldn't allow that to happen because, he's not 6'4", 250 pounds, or you didn't make Adam Cole into a gigantic star from NXT. Like, come on. It's crazy.
The problem is with that, Vince, if he did not understand something, he would not task it to someone else to do for him and put it on. You know what I mean? Like if he didn't fully get it, then it wasn't going to do anything. And that is a fault and why we don't have Adam Cole here with us to be champion. And meanwhile, he's feuding with MJF over on Dynamite. So,
well, I mean, there's even, arguments to be made about like Moxley. Like he was a guy that was.
Don't even. I don't want to go down that road.
I'm just saying, like, he was in NXT. He came up in the Shield, and then
That's
when
what I mean. No,
split, it was like, yeah. Well, and
he ruined Dean Ambrose.
He also put all of his stock in Roman Reigns, and there's a reason why Seth has a chip on his shoulder, because it was like, well, yeah, Seth Rollins should have been Roman Reigns, if we're being honest. The only reason why Roman Reigns is his family connection, which is easy for them to sell, obviously, and because of his look. That's it. I'm not trying to take anything away from the man, but there's a reason why he was the muscle in the Shield, and there's a reason why they never let him talk in the Shield, and it was because he just wasn't good. There's a reason that Seth was like the face of the Shield. There's a reason why he's the reason they broke up. You know what I mean? But because he wasn't a 6'5", handsome looking dude, the way that Vince loves Roman Reigns.
Chiseled is the word you're looking for. He is chiseled.
Yeah, but like, but everything that you would want in a wrestler, it's like, and I'm not comparing the two, but it's like, I don't really understand how a dude like Vince loved him some Shawn Michaels. but then doesn't like the other guys that could be compared to Shawn Michaels because they're not the biggest dude, but they're super charismatic. They're so good in the ring, and no one gives a shit that they're under 6 foot, or maybe they're only 6 foot and 6 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it doesn't make any sense how he would pick and choose. Yeah, it's like,
that's why WWE was called Land of Giants.
Yeah, it just none of it made sense. It just never made sense to me.
It was, yeah. Dean Ambrose is the one who fans like. Dean was mad over. Yes, he was. Dean Ambrose was the shit.
And part of the reason he was so over, and I'm not taking anything away from him, but part of it is kind of like the way that WWE fans, I would say, like in the 20 teens and whatever, they would purposely revolt against what they were seeing. So it's like, okay, WWE does not want us to like Dean Ambrose, so we're gonna love him and cheer for him and whatever, even when we're not supposed to. I mean, look at Daniel Bryan. The whole reason he became this giant name in WWE, besides everything that he is equipped with his talent and whatever, again, not taking anything away from him, was because of the revolt from the fans, because they didn't like what WWE was trying to sell them when it came to Daniel Bryan. So they were cheering for him and they were going bananas for him. And it's like, yeah, that was why it ended up being, his career ended up being what it was. And it could have been bigger. And I think that's what they did with Ambrose too, because they were like, no, this is BS. He's better than what you're showing us. So it was like, yeah, Ambrose is over. But it's like, those are people who are probably now watching him in AEW to be exactly who they wanted him to be, you know?
I don't think we'll see Dean Ambrose.
Ambrose is never coming back.
/ Jon Moxley.
Yeah, no, he's never coming back. He is not even never. That is not a guy that you would ever, should ever consider coming back.
Maybe, hold on, I gotta make this point before. Maybe for a Hall of Fame induction for the Shield. That would be the only reason.
In years down the road. The thing is it would be interesting.
They're not gonna get.
But the thing is that's interesting is if he's still in AEW or whatever, that'll be interesting to see if he even does come back because of that.
Or can.
Yeah, because as of right now, I mean, Tony wouldn't even let WWE borrow Billy Gunn for the night to do the DX reunion unless they literally said AEW on live television. So I don't know that it doesn't seem like he would change that for Moxley either. Like, if he wouldn't do it for a guy like Billy Gunn, why would he do it for Moxley? That doesn't make sense.